This ancient liquid brings dead soil back to life instantly, no fertilizer needed, the secret every gardener should know. If you've ever stood over your garden bed, shovel in hand, wondering why your plants just won't thrive no matter how much compost or fertilizer you add, you're not alone. I've been there too. When your soil turns lifeless, compacted, and dull, it feels like all the life has been sucked right out of it. But what if I told you there's an ancient time-tested liquid that can revive dead soil almost instantly, no synthetic fertilizer required? This isn't some trendy new product from the garden store or a chemical quick fix. It's something far older, simpler, and completely natural. Gardeners across Asia have used it for centuries to bring soil back to life and awaken plants from their slumber. The secret? Rice water, the humble liquid left behind after rinsing or boiling rice. And before you brush it off as too simple, stay with me. Once you understand the why and how behind rice water, you'll see why this waste liquid deserves a permanent place in every gardener's toolkit. When you rinse rice, you wash off a thin layer of starch, proteins, amino acids, and trace minerals. These compounds might seem insignificant, but together they form a perfect microbe feast. Think of rice water as probiotic soup for your soil, full of natural sugars and organic compounds that fuel beneficial microorganisms. Healthy soil is alive. It teems with bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and nematodes. These microscopic creatures work together to break down organic matter, release nutrients, and create a rich, crumbly structure that plants love. When your soil dies, what's really happening is that the microbial life inside it has declined or gone dormant. Rice water helps wake them up. As the starches and sugars seep into the soil, microbes go into overdrive. They multiply rapidly, breaking down dead matter and rebalancing the soil's natural ecosystem. Within days, you can often feel and even smell the difference. A soft, earthy aroma replaces the dull, lifeless scent of dead dirt. There are two simple ways to prepare rice water, and both work beautifully. First up, the rinse method. Before cooking your rice, rinse it in a bowl with clean water. Stir it around until the water turns cloudy, then pour off that milky liquid into a container. That's your rice water, ready to use. Now, the second way is called the boil method. If you've boiled rice for a meal, don't pour that water down the drain. Just let it cool, and you'll have a richer, slightly thicker version of rice water. Both methods, honestly, produce excellent results. The rinse version is lighter and perfect for regular use, while the boiled version is more concentrated, great for, deeply depleted soil. Just remember to use it fresh. Rice water can ferment quickly, and once it starts to smell sour or turn slimy, it's time to either discard it or intentionally ferment it, which we'll get to next. Fermented rice water is where things get really interesting. It's the ancient version of modern biofertilizers, and honestly, it works wonders on tired, compacted soil. Here's how to make it. Pour your freshly collected rice water into a loosely covered jar or bottle. Then, leave it at room temperature for 2 to 3 days, away from direct sunlight. Once it starts to smell slightly sour, like mild yogurt or fermented fruit, it's ready. This fermentation process multiplies beneficial bacteria, especially lactic acid bacteria, which help decompose organic material and suppress harmful pathogens. When you pour this fermented rice water onto your soil, it doesn't just feed the microbes, it repopulates your soil with new beneficial ones. The result? Faster soil revival, better water retention, and, visibly healthier plants. You can use rice water in several ways depending on your soil condition and what you're growing. For mildly depleted soil, simply pour the fresh rice water around the base of your plants once a week. It works like a microbial tonic, reviving soil life gently but steadily. For heavily damaged or compacted soil, you'll want to use fermented rice water diluted with plain water, at a ratio of 1 part rice water to 3 parts water. Just apply it generously across your beds, and then, be sure to follow up by covering the soil with a light mulch. The mulch traps moisture, helps microbes thrive, and ensures the nutrients from the rice water don't evaporate. You can also use rice water as a seed soak. Soak your seeds for a few hours before planting to give them a head start with beneficial microbes and enzymes. Many gardeners, myself included, notice faster germination and stronger seedlings. After just a few applications, the changes can be surprisingly visible. The soil begins to loosen and darken, earthworms reappear, plants look perkier, with greener leaves and stronger stems. The surface crust that once resisted water starts absorbing it again. That's the sign of life returning. Soil microbes doing their silent, powerful work beneath the surface. Over time, you'll also notice something deeper. Your soil starts maintaining its health naturally. Once microbial populations recover, they sustain the cycle of life in your garden with very little input from you. Chemical fertilizers feed plants directly but not the soil. They deliver a short burst of nutrients that plants absorb quickly, leaving the soil more depleted than before. Over time, the soil becomes dependent on those fertilizers, losing its natural balance. Rice water, on the other hand, feeds the soil first. It supports the living network that, in turn, feeds your plants organically. Think of it as the difference between giving someone a single meal versus teaching them how to grow their own food. Once your soil comes back to life, it can nourish itself for years to come. Plus, rice water is free, easy to make, and entirely sustainable. No chemicals, no runoff, no harm to beneficial insects or earthworms, just pure, regenerative nourishment. When I first discovered rice water, my raised beds were practically dead. The soil had turned gray, compact and crumbly. Nothing I planted would survive more than a few weeks. So, I decided to give rice water a try, applying it once a week and mulching lightly after each soak. By week 3, something incredible happened. The soil started smelling rich again, and I saw earthworms wriggling near the surface. Soon, my struggling plants began to perk up, and by mid-season, I had lush growth where nothing had survived before. That was the turning point for me. Since then, rice water has become a non-negotiable part of my soil care routine, and I've shared it with hundreds of gardeners who've seen the same results. Can I use rice water on all plants? Yes. It's gentle and suitable for most plants, from veggies to flowers to houseplants. Just avoid overdoing it. Once a week is plenty. Will it attract pests? Not if used properly. Always apply directly to the soil, not the leaves, and avoid using old or spoiled rice water that smells rotten. Can I store it? Fresh rice water can be kept for up to 2 days in the fridge. Fermented rice water lasts longer, up to a week, but always smell it before use. The secret to thriving plants isn't in fancy fertilizers or expensive soil mixes. It's in restoring the life of your soil. Rice water is a beautiful example of how something so simple, so ancient, can bring back that balance almost instantly. The next time you rinse your rice, by Scots and Trons, Don Scots and Dotsterin, Brystrains, don't pour that cloudy water down the drain. Save it, feed it to your soil, and watch what happens. You might just witness your garden spring back to life, one drop at a time. If this simple ancient trick inspires you to look at your soil differently, then my mission here is complete. Try it yourself and share your results. I'd love to hear your success stories, and if you found this guide helpful, don't forget to subscribe to SoilSage Chronicles for more hands-on soil wisdom, regenerative gardening hacks, and nature-powered secrets that actually work. Let's keep reviving the soil, together.